Hello, we're in a slightly new position. I've got to go to work in just a minute, but I'm currently not reading anything and I'm really in the mood to listen to an audiobook, so I'm just going to start this tarot TBR vlog, pick some books, or pick some prompts so I know I have something to read, and then I will catch up with you when I'm not about to leave the house. Right. Ooh, that is the 9. Is that 2 cards? That's 2 cards. I will take both of those cards. We've got the 9 of Vials and 10 of Vials. I clearly have not shuffled these as much as I would like since I started using them, but we'll take it. Ah, and the 2 of Vials. So we've got the 10, the 9, and the 2 of Vials. Okay. Vials. So, number 2. Oh my god, a book with more than 700 pages. I think Vials are the ones that are like the more challenging prompts, and I've got 3 of them. 9 of Vials, written or published from my birth year, which is 1995. And then a queer book. That is going to be the easiest of the lot. Oh my god. Right, I will get back to you when I've picked some books for these prompts. Hello, it's daylight now. Shock, horror, I'm still not wearing any makeup. It's just not that kind of day. For the book that is supposed to be 700 pages plus. I have not been reading fat books recently. I have read them in the past. I have read big chunky books when they are part of series, and I have been tricked into them. But recently I have not been enjoying them. I have none on my TBR. I have none on my digital TBR either. So I did a whole bunch of Googling and I searched Storygraph and Goodreads. I even searched Goodreads to try and find some famous books that were more than 700 pages. And all that was coming up was like a little lie? The really sad trauma porn one, or Les Mis, or The Count of Monte Cristo, or Brandon Sanderson. And while I have enjoyed Sanderson in the past, I do not feel the need to read any more of his books at this moment in time. None of them really appeal to me. I'm not going to read Les Mis because I'm not a complete masochist. And the only one that was jumping out of me was The Count of Monte Cristo. I've heard a couple of people say it's like their favourite classic. They say it's really, really good. It's also 1,200 fucking pages long, which is more than 700, so it would complete the prompt. But 1,200 pages! No book needs to be that long. No book needs to be that long. I started listening to the audiobook this morning and it's not happening. It's not happening. It is so overwritten even in the first 10 pages, which I think I got through, and I'm not doing that to myself. So we're going to pull another prompt. I'm also going to get rid of that prompt because it's not going to bring me joy. It's going to bring me pain, and that's not what I'm here for in this day and age. So that's a no. For the one that was published the year that I was born, that is 1995. There are some books that I've heard of that have been published in 1995. I have had this prompt before, and I think I reread Assassin's Apprentice for it because I love me some Robin Hobb. She's up there. I'm not going to reread Assassin's Apprentice again. Runners-up could have been Practical Magic, Wicked, I think the second Jurassic Park book. Not that I've read the first. The Lion King keeps bringing to mind, but that's because the film came out in 1995, not the books. So I kind of let that well of books that were published the same year I was born run dry. So I picked one I've never heard of. It's called Relic. It's by Douglas Preston and Lincoln somebody. Or somebody Lincoln, I've now forgotten. But it's about a bunch of murders that happen in a museum very shortly before the exhibit. And the murders don't look like they were done by anything human. Which sounds very like Night at the Museum-y, and I'm quite optimistic I could enjoy that. So I've reserved that at the library. And we'll see. That could be a successful prompt. And then lastly, it was a queer book. Now that was convenient because I have Little Rot by Akwaeke Emezi out from the library. This is very queer from what the blurb says. So we're going to read that for that prompt. But let's pull a different one to replace my stupid 700 page one, and then we can get on with this vlog. I think I will also pull the year I was born prompt from my list, because I'm really running out of options, and it's just going to get harder and harder every time. And because I don't want it, it is bound to come up more than it needs to, or just again in general. I have moved my desk around. The cat has a really irritating habit of walking across my desk to get to the window. She just thinks it's her own little pathway, but that means that she stomps all over my keyboard. And when most of my job and hobbies involve things that do not respond well to random key smashes, that can't happen anymore. So I've changed it around. So now we're here. You are where my desk is. And now you can see the rest of my living room. I will consider it a success if it's anything but vials, and I will consider it a double success if it's an actual person. Are we ready? It's fucking vials! What is that? The 4? 4 of vials. I don't know why I was trying to work out the Roman numerals when there are clearly only 4 vials on this card. Okay. Apparently this is the vlog of the vials. Number 4. Okay. So read a book from a country you've never visited. I am relatively well travelled, as most people go, because my parents like travelling, so I travelled a lot as a kid. I might have something on my TBR already. Let's go find out. Okay, I have three possibilities. First one is Invisible Kitties by Yu Yo-Yo, translated from Chinese. I've never been to China. Oh, look, there's illustrations in there. I believe this is about a couple who get a new kitten, but they live in a very small apartment, so it's like the trials and tribulations of that. I can heavily relate. I would enjoy that, I think, if I picked it up, which is why I bought it. I don't know why I'm trying to justify that to you. Then I've got Welcome to the Hyunam-dong bookshop. I'm sorry. Never been to Korea, so that's cool. This is about a girl who does everything she's supposed to do, go to university, get married, get a job, all falls apart. She opens a bookshop and connects to the people that come in. So much like Days in the Morisaki bookshop, which was fine. And then this one is kind of cheating. This is Allow Me to Introduce Myself by Oni Nwabineli. It might be set in the UK. I don't know where it's set. It doesn't say on the blurb. But this is a British Nigerian author. And well, yes, I have been to Britain. I live in Britain. I've never been to Nigeria. And I think this would still give me a perspective that I do not have on life. Therefore, sort of meeting the vibe of the prompt. So, I'll be honest, I'm leaning towards this one rather than this one. Does it say set? Did it say set? Set in a country? Or just from a country? It only says from a country. So I'm going to take that to mean that that's okay, because I've never been to Nigeria. And Oni Nwabineli is British Nigerian. So we're going to read that. Right, lovely. Now when I start vlogs like these, I can only desperately hope for a 5-star. And when we have vlogs like the first one that I did, that was a complete and utter shit show, I'm not left with much hope. So colour me fucking surprised when I've just read 2 5-stars in a row. 2 of them! Little Rot by Kweki Emezi. So good. Also, they're both fucking litfic. Who am I and what am I turning into? Little Rot is litfic. It is about rot, but within society, and the shitty things people do because of their greed, because of their lust, because of their sins, because they are shitty people. And we follow a group of stinking rich Nigerians in New Lagos. Lagos? I should know that. And their interconnectedness and their lives and the stupid fucking choices they're making and the consequences of those choices, and their hedonistic desires. And there's a lot of sex in this book, just fair warning. But it is all kind of necessary. and it is written well. None of it's particularly cringy. And it explores like political injustice and, oh my God, what's the word I'm looking for? Just the inequality and the greed. And there are more words to describe this that are slipping off the tip of my tongue right now, and it's really bothering me. But it's just so well written. It is so... I wanted to keep picking this book up. I didn't want to put it down. I didn't want to leave it alone in case the magic wore off somehow. There are twists, there are turns. It is one of those books, because you've got such a large cast of characters and you know they're all interconnected in some way. You're trying to work out who knows who, how, and then the reveals are revealed and it's like, oh my God, it was you the whole time. Oh, it was just so good. It is like 50-50 plot and 50-50, like 50-50 plot that is exploring the rots within the upper echelons of society, but also 50% character exploration and character, like a deep dive into all of these characters' lives and why they feel the way they do and why they do the things they do, and why everyone's a little bit perverted, but no one's really going to talk about it, are they? Until they're in these like sex clubs and sex parties and shit. It's just really good. It's just really good. And I think it works really well because it's all about stinking rich, because they can do whatever they want, and it is all about the power and the greed. And I think I've said the word greed about 6 times now, but oh, it's so good. And the way Akwaeke Emezi writes, it's not just lyrical, it is like alarmingly precise and concise, and they don't waste a single word. I want to read more of their books now. Like, I really do. I really do. That was a stunning first book to read from them. And then I followed it up with Allow Me to Introduce Myself by Onyi Nwabineli. And this was always going to be a good one if it was done well, because the subject of influencers and children on the internet are 2 things that I feel very strongly about. I built my career working with kids, and I'm also online. So like, those are 2 things that I'm very interested in. My personal like little internet beef is with teachers who film in their classrooms. To me, that is insane. I don't know what safeguarding laws you have in America, because it is usually America, but I have seen some in the UK. What the fuck are you doing with your phone out filming when there are children who are not your children in the classroom? And even if they were your children, I feel very fucking strongly that they should not be on fucking camera if you are benefiting from that in the slightest. If they are old enough to be recognised by any member of the public, like if they're a newborn and their face is going to change so much that they're not going to be able to be recognised in like 2-3 years time, I can understand that. But if this is a child who is acting for the camera, who is like putting their labour in for your benefit, what are they getting out of that? Because they're basically just working for free. Also, you don't know who's watching the content that you are putting up of your child or your niece or your nephew or your children in your class. Do you know how many perverts and paedophiles are out there watching like, oh, a swimsuit try on for your kid, or like a day at the pool, or just your cooking videos with your kid, your like with playtime with the kid? Like, it is not the people you think who are watching your videos about kids ever. Like, look in the comments. Why are these people so intrigued about your children? I haven't even started talking about the book yet. Jesus Christ. Allow Me to Introduce Myself follows Anuri, which I think I'm pronouncing wrong, but I couldn't find a better pronunciation guide on the internet. She was the victim of manfluencing. Her stepmother, her white stepmother, put her on the internet from a very, very early age, to the point where she is very well known. Her mum made a lot of money. They got brand deals. They got, like, they had a clothing line, a candle line, all of that shit. And she is now living with the repercussions of that. And she is trying to wrest back control of her image from her stepmother. But her stepmother is now putting her stepsister through the same thing that Anuri went through. And Anuri feels very fucking strongly about this. This is such a sharp depiction of what it must be like to be objectified the way that Anuri is, and the fucking money blinders that her stepmother has, and the blindness of her father, and just she has the most beautiful support system. I want to hug all of her friends. And we talk about her therapist and her lawyer and her grandparents back in Nigeria, and the fact that she's struggling to build relationships with other people, because the first thing people want to talk about is the fact that she was on the internet, and she was this child star on the internet because her stepmother decided to put a blog up because she thought Inuri was just so beautiful, and she loved having this cute little black stepchild. And oh my God. This book was fantastic. I stayed up until 4 a.m. reading. It made me cry twice. It has the most brilliant use of italics in one particular line that I have ever read, which was one of the times that I cried. And it was hard to remember that this is a fictional story. We are getting more and more cases come to light, like the Ruby Frankie case, or the 17 Diapers mum. Like, if you put your kid online, you are going to get kickback from a lot of people, because they're going to judge what you're doing with your kid, because people are going to judge. But also, you're putting your kid in danger. If you are putting your kid on the internet where anyone can see it, you're putting your kid in danger. You don't know what's going to happen to those images. You have no control of those images, of that information that you are putting out about this child without their consent. Oh, like, I knew I felt passionately about that topic, but Jesus Christ, I feel very, very angry now. Yeah, so 2 5 stars in a row. I'm very happy with that. That pleases me. My last one, Relic, is on its way from the library. I think I talked to you about it. If not, I'll do a quick recap in a second when it gets here and I've read it. See you then. Relic finally arrived from the library. I started it. I read 100 pages and I DNF'd it because there was going to be another DNF in this vlog, wasn't there? It is a long time since I filmed the other clips, so I could not tell you how long it's been, actually. No, she's running around. Ignore sounds, wobbles. I can't help it. This would appeal to fans of Indiana Jones that can overlook incredibly poorly written female characters. This man, I'm not convinced. There's 2 of them, Preston and Child. Not convinced either of them have ever met a woman, have ever considered what it's like to be a woman for longer than about 4 seconds. This is a book about people stealing stuff they shouldn't steal to put in a museum, and then the consequences happen in the form of dead people, and they go, I wonder what's going on. It's the cursed object you stole from the Amazon. So after about 100 pages of them like umming and ahhing and people just dying every couple of chapters, I couldn't really see the point of reading on. It was getting really tedious with the few female characters that exist in the first 100 pages, because they were just stereotypes. You had the doe-eyed girl who laughs at the shit jokes that aren't funny. You had the bitch who had some grumpy guy's balls and a vice. And you had the fat lady who knows things and is not attractive at all, and everyone decides that they have to very obviously state that they are not attracted to this fat lady because she is fat. 1995. I'm getting rid of this prompt from my tarot TBR situation because A, I think I've run out of books written in that year. It's not the first time that prompt has come up that I want to read. And B, making myself read things that are now 30 years old. I'm not going to get a lot of the content that I enjoy out of books. I'm always going to be taking a risk, particularly with the sexism and the misogyny in books like these. Would recommend if you can look past this, maybe. I wouldn't recommend this. I think there are better books, and I think there are probably going to be better books with a better conversation around stealing shit from people in other countries and putting them in big buildings for people to look at. I do not have enough well-organised thoughts on the matter, but a rewatch of Indiana Jones lately has me thinking about, colonialism and how white people seem to feel entitled to other people's artefacts just because they dug them up. maybe I'll do some more exploring on that topic. This is a no. This is going back to the library. That is the end of the vlog. Thank you very much for being here. I'm very tired and I'm going to go to bed now, but it's time to close this vlog off. Thank you very much for watching. Links for social media and Patreon and all that good stuff is written down below. Yes, it is, because I typed it there. Leave me an emoji of, have we got like a paintbrush or some dirt or like a terrifying mask or something. I forget what the emojis are these days. They keep adding new ones. That made me sound really old. I'm going to go. I'm just going to go. I'm going to stop talking and I'm going to go. See you in the next vlog. I'm so sorry.